So we're
know.
back.
Yes.
Biggity back.
What was the first thing? It was you had something, then I had something, then you had something? Was that it?
I think I had something. I wasn't going to be home. And then last week, I was sick.
Yeah, and then my car broke down.
That's it. That was it.
My car shut down. I was out in the rain. Because normally, so I would go, and I try to leave myself some time to go to see you and be like, I'm going to get food, and that way I'm good. And I just get there, and then we just record, and then I'll go home.
Yeah.
And I sat and ate my sandwich, and I guess because I left the car running, I don't know, the battery just kind of shit on me. So I needed to get it restarted, and it was like, my brother showed up. I just, by the time I got everything situated, it was like when we were done here.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 4:00, and I was like on time too, which is the crazy part. I was like, oh, we're gonna be good. I'm gonna get over there. I'm sure I had jokes that I've forgotten now.
Yeah. To be clear to all our viewers, I did offer.
Yeah.
I was like, do you want me to run over? And you were like, nah, I'm good. I was like, okay.
Well, because I didn't know what to do about the car itself. Because I don't know. I thought there was legitimate, because especially I've had a bunch of problems lately.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to just leave it there and be like, I'll figure it out, because I might get back and never.
Well, for me, I didn't know, if you just needed a jump, I have jumper cables, but if there's something wrong,
that was the thing though. I didn't know if I needed a jump, so
yeah, gotcha.
And then I went to Monster Mania yesterday and met.
Do you want to close the blinds so that way you're not blinded by the light?
No, I'm revved up like a deuce into the middle of the night.
Okay,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a podcast all about wrestling. In this corner, an author and a black belt, Kibbles.
Kibbles? What kind of name is that?
Pookie the Wolf is the best.
I forgot my copies. And in this corner, Pookie the Wolf.
Pookie the Wolf is one of the best.
Welcome to the Kibbles and Pookie's Squared Circle.
I met Pinhead and I met Mojo Jojo. Which people were like, why was Mojo Jojo there? I'm like, well, it's also Ghostface, so.
Yeah.
But he was hilarious.
Jojo.
I think he wrote something like, signed with a pen, me, Mojo Jojo. And I was like, that's good. And he did the voice and everything. He was really fun.
Good.
He was very relaxed, but at the same time he was doing the voice and everything. And I was like, this is just fun.
That's cool. You should.
I think the funny part was he's like, I don't know if I was the first Mojo Jojo to have him sign, because it seemed like everyone was into the Ghostface
thing, yeah.
And he's like, I don't know why people love this guy and not this guy. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like Mojo wouldn't be as violent as. And then he did the voice. He goes, well, I could be.
I think also part of it is the natural crowd that you get. It's Monster Mania, and it's really focused around horror and stuff. So the crowd that would go would probably be naturally more into Ghostface than Mojo.
Yeah.
I think if he did a regular Comic-Con, he'd probably find the opposite. There'd probably be more people getting Mojo than Ghostface.
I'll tell you what, the amount of goddamn Ghostface and Art the Clown. I don't know if you've ever seen Art the Clown before.
I have, yes.
It is ridiculous. Speaking of, shout out to Miss G. It's her birthday today, and she was there yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday! I didn't know it was her birthday.
It'll probably go out a day after, but it's still,
Happy day after birthday.
I don't know if she listens to this. Not the point.
I've done that on purpose a few times. I've purposely not texted somebody on their birthday and then text them the day after. So I'm the only one who's wishing them a happy day after birthday. It's a little conceited, but I have a good time with it.
But I have fun, and that's all that matters.
That's all
them.
that matters. If you truly matter to me, you got an actual happy birthday. So how about that?
What was the... Jesus Christ. What was the thing I was going to say before we moved on to actual wrestling?
You were talking about Terrifier the Clown, and then you said Miss G was there, and happy birthday.
Well, yeah, it's this thing. They saw them, but then also the fact of, when you said about Mojo Jojo, it also is the fact, when conventions do, I went to one convention where it was this guy from Red Dead Redemption, this guy from Red Dead Redemption, this guy from Red Dead Redemption.
They try to get it a set.
All Scream shit.
Oh, yeah. Scream was the, theme of the convention.
Nev Campbell, Matt Lillard.
Next convention, it'll be a different, theme. Well, you'll still get some other, random people and stuff, but it'll be, a different
I was just disappointed I didn't get to meet Shaggy.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's fine if I was waiting in... If I was waiting in the line for so long, I'd be feeling a little woozy here. It's a Scream reference. Because when they stab Matthew Lillard a bunch of times, he's like, "All right, now do me." He's like, "I'm feeling a little bit woozy here."
Yeah.
He's spitting blood out. But yeah, so that was fun.
Cool.
There was a guy with a world heavyweight title because I guess David Arquette was there,
I was gonna say
which is just fucking.
I guess
he's stupid, but I
David
get it.
Arquette's got to be the only one because I don't think any other. Okay.
Which I love the fact, going into wrestling, I love the fact that he did, I think he earned respect as far as what he did afterwards. Because people hated him for the fact that he won the World Heavyweight title in WCW.
And then he almost got killed by Nick Gage.
Exactly. Like, he went in and, like, did all these fights. Like, I think he fought Cardona. He might have fought a bunch of people. And it's just people were like, oh, he proved that he's a wrestler now.
I know he did he did like a tour. There's a documentary on it.
Yeah, it's like you can't kill David Arquette or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon Prime, if I recall.
Yeah, it's a cool dude. Cool dude. Him and Matthew Lillard were two people who were like not sitting at like behind the desk. They were like always like in front of the desk, like shaking people's hands and like giving them hugs and stuff, and just real nice, cool dudes. So what happened on Rampage and Collision and all them?
I don't know. Who cares?
Well, we should care.
Oh, we should.
That's what we do.
Andrade beat Garcia.
Daniel Garcia?
Yes.
But he just fought MJF. He should be going to the moon.
I don't know.
Does that mean Andrade is going to fight MJF now?
Probably not. I feel like they're trying.
Damn.
They're trying to do an Andrade. It feels like they're trying to build an Andrade Miro feud, because like Lana keeps trying to like, oh, you should think about like letting me manage you, and he keeps being like, no, and I was like, all right, well, at some point, Miro's just gonna like jump him, and then that'll just kickstart a.
Do you think that Charlotte Flair is as hot or flexible as Lana?
Flexible, maybe.
I would say no.
As hot, no.
She seems too tall for that.
I mean, she could do a split.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
She does it. She used to do it when she would get in the ring.
Wait, Lana or Charlotte?
Charlotte.
Oh. Have we ever seen Lana's boobs?
No?
That was kind of rhetorical because we've seen Charlotte's.
Oh, okay.
You're like,
all right.
no?
I don't know what that's doing. Okay.
I'm making fun of Charlotte. I don't like her.
Well, she was made to look a fool on SmackDown.
By who?
By Asuka.
Multiple people?
Yeah. Well, Asuka. Well, she was made to look a fool by Asuka, and then in turn, the rest of Damage Control as Asuka joined Damage Control,
along with Kairi Sane.
Yep. Which makes me wonder if there's like the eventual plan to have it be Asuka, Io, Kairi Sane, and they'll like kick out Dakota Kai and Bailey.
Yeah. I mean, if not, you should really have a full, like, that'd be cool, like a full female stable.
Yeah, my assumption is that if there's going to be a breakup, it may or may not happen after Survivor Series, because there's like, I'm like, oh, because Dakota Kai's hurt, so now there's 4 of them, and then they can get Bianca, Charlotte, and 2 other women, and then that's your women's War Games match.
Yeah. Also,
is my assumption as to where this is going.
Also, you can John Cena, Charlotte Flair into beating all of them. I mean, John Cena her. You just fucking have her destroy everybody.
I was gonna say, go invisible.
No, just fucking
go invisible.
Just fucking destroy them.
So I've got a bone to pick.
Go ahead and pick that bone
with AEW.
Oh,
HaNGmaN Adam Page.
I've been hearing that a lot lately.
Fucking dumb bitch.
Oh my goodness.
Listen. Swerve broke into your house, and Prince Nana broke into your house, and cut a promo on your baby.
Yeah,
bro, you have done nothing. He was like,
trying to beat him up, didn't he?
Well, so here's the thing. This is being done in such a wrestling way that, like, I hate it.
Yeah,
I'm like, he's like, let me go out and so that happens, right? And then the next week he's like, let me go out and defend the trios titles with my friends. And then when Swerve comes out, he's like, oh yeah, I remember now. I'm angry at you, and runs away. And I'm like, why was he out here wrestling? And then like Swerve has a match on Collision. Hangman's nowhere to be seen. He doesn't do anything. And then this week, Swerve has a match, and they at least acknowledge that Hangman's like barred from ringside. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, bro, if somebody broke into my house and cut a promo on my kid, like, Tony Khan can tell me I'm banned from ringside. I'm still running out there and whipping this guy's ass.
Yeah. Might even kill him.
Yeah. And then there's like the weird wrestling thing about it, where it's like he came out and like used the chair, which I'm fine with. But it was like he came out after the match, used the chair, and then he's like, I'm gonna grab him and do this wrestling move off the ramp. And I'm like, no, like Hangman should have like this tunnel vision where it's like, I'm gonna tackle this guy and I'm gonna beat the fuck out. Like it should be like that, like tackle down, like and then just driving into his face.
You'd think that he'd just
but
do
instead
that.
he's like, I'm gonna do this wrestling move.
What
to
move
him.
did he do to him?
He did the Deadeye, I think.
Oh,
And it's just it's really poorly done. It's really poorly done, and it makes Hangman look like an idiot.
and also it doesn't make any sense the fact that the fucking the Elite got the 6-man tag belts and then just lost them back to the original people who owned them. Like,
There's
why
no
the fuck
reason
did you
for
even
that to
do
happen.
that?
There's no reason for that to happen.
Like, why didn't they just do a different team? That would have made more sense to be like, because I was like, why are they having him defend him? Are they just going to lose him again? That's just weird.
Yeah.
And then they just had it like, oh, he lost because of a distraction. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they want so. Here's the weird thing. Tony Khan wants me to pay a monthly subscription fee to watch Ring of Honor, but everything on AEW television tells me Ring of Honor doesn't fucking matter. Like,
yeah.
the the 6-man tag title thing was like, what? And now Samoa Joe is like, I don't want this belt.
Yeah.
I want the AEW belt.
I just remembered that. Why didn't you just fucking give it to Keith Lee, you fucking sexist shit?
He wants to.
my
They wanted to
God.
keep Joe strong, because if Joe lost it, then Joe's not strong. I don't know.
Joe can be strong with his mouth on my turd cutter. Okay?
What?
He can kiss my ass.
Oh.
My turd cutter's my butt. Yeah, it's my butthole.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, they're just straight up, like, at this point, Tony Khan's just straight up being like, Ring of Honor doesn't fucking matter. Just don't pay me money to watch Ring of Honor. The pay-per-views, the wrestlers, the show, none of it matters. Just watch
I
AEW.
should have just said Samoa Joe can suck my turd cutter. I don't know why he said
I know
put
you
his
did.
mouth on my.
I know you did.
Yeah, I should have said that. I should have said it. Suck my turd cutter. Anyway,
So, like, this whole
Keith Lee.
thing is stupid.
Why didn't you just give it to Keith Lee?
I think it's because they wanted Joe to look strong going up against MJF, because if he loses, then he doesn't look as strong. And my prediction as to where this is going, MJF will cave. MJF and Joe will defend the titles at Full Gear.
Uh-huh.
And then next month in December, they announced they have Worlds Collide or whatever. World's End, whatever the pay-per-view is. At this point, we're becoming WWE, and there's a fucking pay-per-view every month.
Hell yeah, brother.
We'll get Joe and MJF main event. That's my prediction.
Huh. You think Joe's going to win?
Probably not.
You don't think Joe's going to take it from him?
No, maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends on if they feel like they want MJF to still have the title. Do they want... See, I guess it doesn't matter quite as much now because MJF is a face. When MJF was a heel, it logically made sense for him to hold the belt until at least the beginning of 2024, so they could tell a story. So they could tell the story about him, like, oh, maybe I'm going to go to WWE and take the belt with me because no one can beat me for the belt. So then it becomes a like, you just so happen to play it off as in his last day with the company is on a pay-per-view, and whoever, maybe Darby Allin is like trying to beat him for the belt, and Darby Allin can finally get the win, like, with a headlock takeover. So like that's a cool story to tell, but now MJF is a face, so it really doesn't make sense to tell that story anymore. Like, you can't have MJF be a face and be fighting Darby Allin on the last day of the like, you know what I mean? Like, the dynamic doesn't work anymore.
Who are we gonna?
I think if MJF is a face, he gets more cheers than Darby. Like, you can't put him against Darby right now.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
A couple questions for you. Who do you think the devil is? Will he be shown at Full Gear? And is at World's End the end of MJF's era? Which you kind of already answered.
I feel like the devil is Adam Cole.
Really?
Yeah, my only problem with that is that I don't know if they can make this devil thing last long enough for Cole to be able to come back.
Yeah.
And so my logical steps towards that are that the devil mask attack happened on the show where Adam Cole came out and said he was injured and was going to have to get surgery. Like, that same night was the night that the original attack happened.
Even if that wasn't the plan with his ankle, it could have been a concept of, after he lost it all in, he goes, I'm going to use the mask. And,
right.
You know.
I think Adam Cole makes the most sense.
Yeah.
From a storytelling perspective. Again, I think my only problem is if they're like, Adam Cole's going to be out for like 6 months, I don't know if you can make the devil, who's the devil, span out for 6 months and have people care. Because I feel like you're already getting to a point where, like, okay, we need to find out who it is because there's not much else we can do with this story.
Unless you make it.
Like, let me tell you this. If we don't reveal who the devil is, let's say at Full Gear, let's just say we don't reveal who the devil is at Full Gear, and it's going to be Adam Cole. For Adam Cole to be able to do anything on the show and be the devil, or show himself as the devil and actually be on AEW Dynamite, we still have to stretch this out for 4 more months if he's going to be out for 6 months. And, like, I feel like that is going to get into the territory of stuff that AEW does a lot, which is the story goes on for so long that, like, I'm tired of it and I don't care anymore.
What if it's just MJF? Because it's like, yeah, if they were like, oh, well, he said it wasn't him. Like, yeah, but it's MJF. Like,
if it
couldn't not be him.
If it is MJF, I would be interested to see how they would do it,
because they could turn him a heel again and then do that whole Darby Allin thing you said.
Well, right. I think the only way it's MJF is if they're turning MJF heel again.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That would be the reason why I'd think they'd do that.
Right.
I mean, without Adam Cole there, it's not really like he has a moral compass or whatever.
Yeah, but then I guess the question is, how do you do it and turn him? How do you do it as him and turn him heel with it making sense? Or, I'm sorry, how do you do it and turn him heel without the fans cheering the fact that he's the devil? You know what I mean? Like, how do you do it in a way that makes him a heel and not just the babyface who's outsmarting everybody?
Yeah, he's got to do something really bad.
Right.
And I think the weird part is, like, this is the problem I have with the whole dropping the TV title. If you drop that, are you pretty much calling the shot that Samoa Joe will be the next guy to win the AEW title?
That's absolutely possible. That would also be a really interesting story to tell. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually a really good idea.
What? To have
it be Joe
to beat MJF
at World's End. Follow my story
what
logic
happens
here.
at Full Gear?
So this week, MJF decides, yes, I'm going to join forces with Joe. Joe helps him retain the tag titles. They go on and have the match at World's End. Joe beats him, wins the title. MJF is like super distraught. You could even build up to like maybe 3 or 4 weeks later in January. MJF is like trying to get a rematch or something. Or you could even do a Revolution rematch.
Mm-hmm.
If you do a Revolution rematch, you're at the end of February. At that point, Adam Cole's just about ready to come back if you're going by a 6-month timeline. Adam Cole comes back. Now, what happens to Adam Cole and MJF as friends as you slowly come to find out, or what happens when Adam Cole comes back and MJF is no longer the world champion. He's now mad at Adam Cole because who every single week keeps telling him, you need to take Joe's offer, you need to take Joe's offer, you need to take Joe's offer.
Mm-hmm.
So finally he listens to his best friend, and because he listened to his best friend, he lost the world championship.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he comes back and they're tag champs, but there's immediate conflict between the two.
I think the one thing that would make, if you're going to turn MJF evil and do the whole 2024 thing, then the only way to do that is to tarnish the relationship that they have between Adam Cole and him. Because the Brochacho thing, the team, the double clothesline bullshit, everyone fucking loves that one. So you have to kill it and make it so it never happens again.
Right. Well,
if you are going that route.
Right. And so then that would even be interesting because you don't do the whole 2024 is he going to leave thing with the world title. You don't have that storyline, but Adam Cole comes back. MJF pretends to be his friend. Immediately at Double or Nothing, which you have be their first tag title defense, MJF turns on him. Like the first title defense they have, boom, turns on him. And is like, F you, you're the reason why I lost the belt. I thought you were my friend, but you told me to team with Joe, and then Joe beat me for the title. Like, I think that's that's actually a really compelling story. And then that gives you a really good, because then you can go on to, like, have an MJF Adam Cole, like, finish the feud. Have a match where they finish the feud. And you have, like, this really good story that's not the world title story, because then Joe can go and do something with the world title.
Yeah. And you free up a lot of the ROH titles so that way people can actually enjoy other things.
Yeah, I think that's a really good, compelling.
Can I just say that
story?
AEW's fucking up right now. Like,
yeah, they are.
They are just fucking dropping the ball.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of shit's just going nowhere. There are so many people who are just upset. There are so many people who aren't being used. It's just upsetting.
Yeah, I think my biggest gripe is the way that they've been handling the Swerve HaNGmaN thing. Swerve breaking into his house, I was like, that's in my head I was like, okay, like this story is like going to get super personal and stuff, and it feels like
it never really got there.
Yeah, it feels like HaNGmaN is just doing normal pro wrestling, and we're just like, we're not actually like amping anything up about the fact that Swerve made it personal.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing a terrible job of continuing the story after the house break.
You could even turn him into a heel that way too. Just get him
if you wanted to,
angry.
yeah. Like, he should be
angry, not giving a shit to the Bucks. The fact that they lost the fucking 6-man tag titles.
He should be jumping like right now until you get to
like
Full Gear for right now until you get to the Full Gear match. Like every show, there should be a segment where
they have to split them apart.
Where HaNGmaN is trying to go after him.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Jungle Boy versus Hook is a perfect example.
Right.
Just keep having them try to fight the other one.
Yeah. The other weird thing that like sits outside of this like weird realm is the fact that commentary is kind of weird. I didn't pick up on this until somebody mentioned it, and then I was like, they're totally right. In a backstage fight, I think it was Hook hit one of the security guards, like Pat Buck or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh man, Hook's got to be careful. That could be grounds for a suspension. That could be grounds for a fine to hit like an official. And I'm like, where the fuck are you guys when Swerve is fucking breaking into a dude's house and he's not getting fined? You're not talking about him getting fined like or suspended
for like trespassing and breaking in. And
I'm like, dude's breaking federal laws.
Yeah. literally filming himself doing the crime and going like, nah, that's fine.
Yeah. And he should be going after him like crazy. Like I also think it'd be really cool if he like tried to get to Swerve, and so they were breaking him up, and in the breakup he accidentally ends up near Nana, and he jumps Nana because Nana broke in too, and like because they're not expecting him to jump him.
Just be the
like
fucking
he should be
bull.
crazy.
Yeah,
he should be a bull in a china shop. Like he doesn't see anything but red.
Yeah.
And I feel like that whole story has been really poorly handled. Really poorly.
Yeah, I agree.
It like frustrates me because their match at Wrestle Dream was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I think their upcoming match is gonna be fucking awesome again.
Yeah. they made it like crazy and hardcore and stuff, it would have been
Yeah.
even better. Because then you elevate it to that like grudge match, like legitimately
Right.
beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, like this
And
is
you're
a grudge
You
match.
do not have any kind of emotion to this right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another thing that doesn't make any fucking sense. Julia Hart and Chris Statlander and
what's going on
Sky
with that?
Blue and Willow.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
They're not doing anything. They're just ominously looking at
Nothing
each
is
other.
happening.
Like the only person who's doing stuff is Chris Statlander. She's just like, what do you want? What are you doing?
Yeah, there's just
And they're
weird.
just
There's this
looking
weird
at
thing
each
with
other.
Sky Blue where she's like, I spit the mist in Julia Hart's face, and they're like, "Yeah, we're cool," and she's like, "Nah, we're not cool. I'm gonna mess with her in my own way." And I'm like, "What is happening?
Yeah. These bitches are just fighting for no reason. What the fuck?
What the hell is happening here?
Someone break them up. What the hell's going on?
What the hell?"
Doesn't Julia have that big guy to help her out? What the fuck's going on in here?
Yeah. Should we go down the match card?
Oh, for Full Gear.
Yeah. While we're going through stuff.
Yeah, why not? And then
Predictions?
if I get pissed off about something, I'll let you know.
Okay. I feel like we go on tangents anyway during our breakdowns.
Hell
yeah. Okay, so pre-show,
Pre-show.
MJF and somebody against the Guns.
I like what somebody's doing right now. He seems like a good wrestler.
He is a good wrestler.
But somebody... Oh, it doesn't say somebody. It says TBA. TBA is a good one, too. He's a good wrestler, too. No, I think you're right. I think if anybody, it's going to be Joe. I don't know where they go with it, but I think Joe would be a option for him.
Yeah, I feel like you can't beat MJF. I did like. Was it you who had the idea of it being Mark Briscoe since Mark had the match with Jay White on Wednesday?
Idea. I really did want it to be Mark Briscoe because otherwise you're just going, let's see if Mark Briscoe can win the TV title.
Yeah, so I feel like the Mark Briscoe thing would have been cool. I feel like personally, Mark Briscoe would not want to do that because it's the ROH tag titles.
Yeah,
and
but
with his brother. And
the concept that if anyone would know tag teams, it would be him.
Oh, absolutely. I think
if they were
think
to
it's a
do
good
it,
idea. I'm just saying him personally.
Yeah.
I don't think would want to do it.
If they were to do it, they would probably do more of a back and forth with MJF and him, but they haven't. So, I'm saying, of course, MJF and shit.
See, I think See, this is the weird thing. Like, you can't beat MJF the same night going into the world title match, in my opinion. So either MJF's got to win, or whoever his tag partner is has got to be the one who eats the pin.
Well, yeah, good. Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't really necessarily agree with that. I think they could still do that and still, because that would.
I don't think Adam Cole. I don't think MJF should be the one eating the pin.
But he might.
I mean, he might.
It'll definitely kind of bring him down in a sense that like I think if he lost the titles, say he picked Samoa Joe and Samoa Joe either screwed him over or kind of just wasn't there for him to get pinned. I think it would be very interesting because then going into the rest of the night, he'd have to think about like, I can't lose all my titles tonight. And I think that's the part where I'm like, that could be a kind of like that'd
be an interesting.
You have this shot and you could lose this one too. You've already lost the one. You can lose the other one. But you're right. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think that concept of he could possibly lose it, it's not entirely.
I mean, it's not 100%, but I still personally feel like MJF should not be the guy eating the pin.
Yeah, I know. It's a good point. But I would say MJF, but I wouldn't say that the Guns couldn't win that night.
Yeah. Well, I guess my thought is like if MJF's the one eating the pin, then like in the semblance of reality, and again, we're in pro wrestling and not reality, but in the semblance of reality, there's no fucking way MJF should win or keep the world championship. Like if he's the one who gets pinned and loses earlier in the night, there's no way he's 100%. and he's already lost. So like, he really,
Well, that's what I'm
by
saying.
logic, he should not beat Jay White.
That's what I'm saying. To rally around.
But I think he is beating Jay White.
I'm saying like to rally around the fact of like he has to succeed, I guess. Like almost like the tag titles are meh, and then like he needs to more worry about the main title. Which I get you're right. He'd have to kind of rest up, or he wouldn't be 100%. But I don't know. It could go either way. I think
I'm going MJF, and I think MJF's going to keep the titles. I think Joe's going to be his partner.
I agree. That's what it looks like they're leaning to.
All right, next up. This one I'm back and forth on. Shida or Tony Storm?
I don't know if
I'm 50-50 on this one.
If Tony Storm wins, then it just shows that they're just doing a shitty job with the female.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, then this person has the title. Now this person has the title. And they're not doing anything with those people. They're just going, this person has it. Now this
So
person
why
has
did
it.
Shida win the title? The only reason I can think Shida won the title is because there's something up with Saraya, because she hasn't been on TV at all.
I don't know. It's weird. Saraya, I feel like, didn't do anything with her reign. It was just kind of
No,
like...
she didn't. Her reign was totally to give her a win in London, to which you could have just had a separate women's match and not had her in the title match. But yeah, I feel like it makes sense to put the title on Tony Storm because she's doing amazing. She had it earlier this year. She hasn't had it since a few weeks before All In.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's
so like June.
She
July?
had it and then lost it to Shida. Then Shida lost it to Saraya. Then Saraya lost it to Shida again. And then, so she's been the third person since then.
The logical reason behind Tony Storm is because she's doing a lot of character work, and her character is over and funny and awesome.
Yeah,
and so like it would make sense for her to win based on the fact that she's over and important to the audience. However, I feel like Shida should win the belt. Or should keep the belt. Because...
Go on.
Because I feel like Tony Storm doesn't need it. I wondered if they introduced... Because out of nowhere, they introduced that they were like, AEW's new assignee, and she was like all about Tony Storm. And
it was
I was like,
one chick.
Yeah, and I was wondering if are we doing a Mickie James Trish Stratus thing here, and she's gonna like accidentally cost Tony Storm the match,
maybe,
which would be cool because then we could have a storyline with them two, and then Shida can have a storyline for the title.
You know they ain't gonna do that.
Probably not gonna do that.
They don't do women's grudge matches unless it's someone.
They don't do women's champion or storylines.
Not unless it's like
is that me or you?
That's me.
Okay.
Unless it's a high profile person like Saraya.
Saraya.
Because Britt Baker and Saraya was a thing at one of the pay-per-views.
I do remember that.
And that had nothing to do with the title.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Shida.
Yeah, I think Shida as well. I think this is just gimmicky, or it's just like she's hot right now. They just want to put her at the main event for the women's.
I mean, it makes sense. Tony Storm is kind of the only woman that on the roster that I care about. Like, I care about Shida because I really like her.
Oh, that's sweet.
But like, other than that, like, I don't care about this like Julia Hart storyline thing anymore. It's been too long. It's too convoluted. It doesn't make sense.
I like Chris Statlander. Really, I like anyone from the Best Friends. So,
including Hook.
We're waiting for you to get better there, Chuck Taylor.
Yeah. Six man.
Hook is not part of the Best Friends. First off,
he's been around with them for months.
What, is Danhausen part of the Best Friends too?
Oh, he totally is.
Yeah, he's probably more likely to be.
Go on. 6-man tag. Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland. For some reason, it says in parentheses with Ric Flair.
Boo.
I don't know.
Boo.
Against Christian, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne.
They're not saying boo. They're saying woo.
Woo.
I was saying boo.
That was good. That was good. They're not saying boo. They're saying woo.
They're saying Bautista. Yeah, I mean, obviously, why would you have Adam Copeland lose?
Does Adam Copeland turn?
No.
Here's the only reason why somebody brought it up. So I was listening to a podcast and somebody was doing like, they were like, if I were to fantasy book, he's like, what if Adam Copeland turns on Darby and Sting, so that way you could set up Sting's final match to be against Edge. Well, against Adam Copeland, because that's like a big marquee match for Sting's final match.
I mean, I don't understand the implication, but I get it.
I mean, the only reason for
Two
me,
big
the only
names.
reason is so that way it's two big names. You
Yeah.
get like the marquee of like Sting versus Adam Copeland, first time
marquee
ever.
Can say pro wrestling and not a midget, a beaten off in a trash can.
That's from something.
Dusty Rhodes.
Okay, there you go.
It's one of my favorite. If someone ever says, Darren, what is your favorite quote from Dusty Rhodes? It's the marquee says pro wrestling. It does not say a midget, a beaten off in a trash can.
Exactly.
And people are like, why did he say that? I'm like, because TNA had a midget, a beaten off in a trash can.
Because he was old and senile.
No, because they had an actual midget beaten off in a trash can. That was a storyline that Vince Russo made, where it was this creepy, pervy guy in a trash can who was a little person. I don't know what they go by, but back then they said midget. But yeah, it was just this weird thing.
It must have been good then, because Vince Russo is a genius.
Vince Russo is a genius. He's one of the best. What a piece of shit.
All right, who you got on this?
I have the good guys. If it isn't Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam, then it is Christian by a cheap win, and it'll lead into Edge versus Christian for the TNT title.
Makes sense.
But that's the only way I could see it going. Like if Christian does a shitty roll up pin.
Makes sense. I desperately want this storyline to be over. I'm
who?
done.
Just Edge and
With Christian and Luchasaurus and Darby and Sting and I'm done
I think
with this.
drop Darby Allin and Sting.
The only thing,
and let them do their own thing.
Yeah, the only thing I want, or the only thing left out of this that I care about seeing is an Edge versus Christian match, or if they're gonna pull the trigger and do a Darby Allin Nick Wayne grudge match, like a hardcore nudity match. Other than that, get these guys away from each other. I'm tired of watching this stuff.
These guys away from each other. I think the concept of doing whatchamacallit? Doing Adam versus Christian, having Adam win, moving on and doing singles competition with people that he wants to wrestle, like TNT title, fighting Will Hobbs, fighting Miro, fighting whoever else. Just having him fight the people he wants to work with that he never got a chance to work with for the TNT title.
Yep. Next down on the list, Orange Cassidy, John Moxley singles match for the International Championship. It's going to be a good match.
I hope Orange, because then you're just repeating what you did before.
Well, I feel like the whole reason for this match is just to get the belt back. Like Moxley wasn't cleared. Like if you recall, it was Moxley against Ray Phoenix, and he wasn't cleared in enough time for the Ray Phoenix match, and they needed to get the belt off of Phoenix. So they put Orange Cassidy in his spot. So I think this match is just to get us back on track with where we were and have John Moxley win. So I'm going to say Moxley.
I'm going to say Orange. I think that's weird. Like, I think even John Moxley would be like, yeah, it'd be weird for me to just get the title again. Like, I don't think it's important to him, you know?
It's not.
Creatively, I don't think he'd be like, yeah, I'm going to get the title, but you just give it back to me. It's weird. Like,
well, I think creatively they're trying to creatively they want to put the belt back on Moxley, so then they can creatively do what they had already planned for Mox.
I understand that, but I don't know. I just feel like it's very, like, things happen, you have to pivot to a different situation, and I think if they had a game plan, they wouldn't try to go, let's just try it again. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I would say Orange, and only because, like,
Mox.
if it ends the same way, I'm like, that's creatively, it's just like, why? I understand that they want to get to this one area, but, like, things happen, and that's the sport, and just move on and try to roll with the punches. Because if you're trying so hard to do this thing over and over again, then you're like, okay, we can see it coming because it's not really like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I still think that the plan is to put the belt back on Mox so they can do whatever it was they were going to do at Mox.
Yeah, I understand
that. So I got Mox. I think it'll be a good match. I don't think it'll be good. I don't think it'll be better than their previous match. This must be new. Did they maybe they announced this on Collision? I didn't watch. It says the Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland match is a Texas death match.
Oh my! Well, that would make sense then.
Yes. Thank you for amping this up somewhat.
Well, I mean,
we'll go stateside and see
they certainly didn't do it on their own. Hangman certainly didn't amp it up himself. So
stupid.
Was it announced on?
I'm scrolling through to see if it. Oh, look, there's Miro watching Andrade. And Lana's with him. Told you.
Andrade
Iguodolo. And Miro. Bet you they're going to fight.
Andrade Iguodolo.
I love that on
excuse me.
Botch. When they
did the up and at them?
Yeah. Or he keeps saying it wrong.
Because it was the dude from Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I don't fucking like him.
I'm just saying I love when that happens.
I don't fucking like him. What'd they do for them? Hold on, wait, go back.
They had a match.
They had a match?
No, Julia Hart defeated Willow Nightingale. They're just backstage talking.
About what?
About a match that's happening at or they were talking about the winner of Willow against Julia Hart gets the title shot against Chris Statlander. And the winner of Sky Blue versus Red Velvet next week gets into the title match as well.
So who's going to end up winning that? Is it just going to be Julia Hart?
Again? Yeah. Yep.
It's just going to be Julia Hart again?
Yeah, it already happened.
Wait, Julia Hart versus who?
Willow.
She beat her on Collision.
Correct.
Okay.
So Julia Hart's the number one contender.
Who fought Red Velvet on Wednesday?
Julia Hart.
Julia Hart fought her on Wednesday as well?
Yes.
Okay. So Julia Hart is going to end up becoming the number one contender?
She already is number one contender.
All right, then. My questions have been answered.
Just
so confused by that. I'm sorry.
The winner of Julia Hart versus Willow is number one contender for Chris Statlander. Also...
Oh, it's a three-way match.
Correct. Also, the winner of Sky Blue versus Red Velvet next week is number one contender. So
it's going to be Sky Blue and Julia Hart versus...
Chris Statlander.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. I thought it was a singles match. I was like, where does Sky Blue and Red Velvet come in? Because I saw that and was like, where the fuck are they coming in at?
Apparently, Hangman cut a promo on Collision and declared that their fight at Full Gear will be a Texas death match.
He's from Virginia, that fuck.
Doesn't mean it. It's just a match.
It's going to be in L.A.
Who the fuck? Okay. It's a match name.
It's called a bit. It's called a joke I want to do.
Get over it.
The fact that it's nowhere near Texas.
Get over it.
Nowhere near Texas whatsoever.
Get over it.
That's why I'm saying it.
Get over it.
No, stop ruining my bits.
I don't wanna.
You can touch them.
Okay.
Anyway, next match.
Well, wait, Hangman or Swerve? Who you got?
Oh, Hangman. No. Yeah, Hangman.
Hangman, yep.
Hangman, yeah.
Golden Jets.
Redemption.
Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks. If the Golden Jets win, they get the Young Bucks AEW World Tag Title shot. And if the Young Bucks win, the Golden Jets must disband as a team.
What? I didn't hear about this.
It was a thing on Wednesday. The Young Bucks were like, remember when we were the Elite and we got back together and then we were supposed to have each other's backs and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys sound like whiny bitches. And then Kenny Omega called him a whiny bitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you. That's what he sounds like. Also, it's weird that the Young Bucks are going around being like, Kenny Omega, remember when we used to have each other's backs and stuff? And I'm like, meanwhile, y'all are just like, meanwhile, the Young Bucks are just like, Hangman, you got this.
You got this, Hangman.
Like, man, fuck you guys.
Yeah, that seems very shoehorned in.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird match. Doesn't make sense to me. I think instead they shouldn't be doing this match. Instead, they should be doing that 8-man tag street fight thing.
Yeah.
But I guess
at the pay-per-view and not
I guess the people who keep winning aren't going to get on these pay-per-views or get pushed, like Will Hobbs or like Takeshka.
David Fletcher. David Fletcher's officially AEW,
Takeshka,
right?
yes. Takeshka should fucking be fighting for the world championship. He fucking beat Kenny Omega twice.
Oh my god!
In 2
and then
weeks.
somehow Kenny Omega got a title shot.
And then somehow Kenny Omega got a title shot. I don't understand.
God,
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
They're fucking up.
Also, that's another thing. Get fucking Kenny Omega away from Takeshka and fucking Don Callis. I'm so done with this story.
I'm assuming this fight that's going to happen Wednesday it'll end it all.
I hope so, dear God.
Right? It's this Wednesday?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Because it didn't end in blood and guts, and it didn't end it all in, and it didn't end it all out, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is taking forever.
I don't want to buy fucking Sega's shitty game. I don't care about this fucking gimmick
They're
fight.
just getting money for it. That's all they care about, which is fine.
I'm not going to buy the fucking game, but whatever. They need to do a better fucking job of just booking. None of this shit makes any sense. You have literally like a handful. It's like they have a handful of like, imagine making a smoothie and having a bunch of different fruit and just keep picking up blueberries and that's it. And you're like, you have so much more to use. They're like, nah, we're just going to use blueberries.
Yeah.
Like you keep using blueberries. They're like, yeah, that's fine. Blueberries is Kenny Omega.
I got the Golden Jets.
Yeah, Golden Jets will probably win.
All right.
Because then they can do Ricky Starks and Big Bill against the Golden Jets.
Yep.
And probably have them win, to be honest.
That's possible. I could see that. Here's the match we were just going on and on and on about.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart, who is qualified, and then
versus Sky Blue.
Versus Red Velvet.
It's going to be Sky Blue.
It's going to be Red Velvet. I'm just kidding. It's going to be Sky Blue.
They had her come back, got her ass whooped. They're going to have her ass whooped again.
I'm honestly worried Chris Statlander loses.
She should have just went to NXT with Jade.
Ouch.
What? Red Velvet could have been better off. They could have been a tag team.
True. Jade's
yeah,
a single star. WWE doesn't like tag teams.
The weird thing is like it's not AEW's style to have someone. I don't think it's their style to have someone win in a triple threat. So I think I
think we're gonna find this whole thing was a fucking ploy, and Sky Blue is gonna turn on Chris Statlander, and Julia Hart will win because of it.
Yeah,
that's the only reason that this match is triple
that would
threat.
be the only way.
Which then also makes me sad because I kind of wish that instead of a 3-way, it was a 4-way with Willow.
I mean, you kind of shoehorn in Red Velvet. It'd be weird if Red Velvet wins.
It would be weird. If Red Velvet wins, she's only in there to take the pin.
Yeah.
Legit. If Red Velvet wins, the only reason she's in that match is so that way either Chris can pin her or Julia Hart can pin her. But I still think it's Sky Blue. I think Sky Blue.
What the fuck is happening?
I think Sky Blue does shenanigans to help Julia Hart win.
It's a little bit on myself too because I'm watching when I can, and a lot of times, like for example, I told you Wednesday they had the public test build for Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
I missed most of.
Listen, this story doesn't make a damn lick of sense.
But even me, I don't see most of it. Like I don't see most of like Rampage. Like I'm not seeing any wrestling right now.
I never watch Rampage.
I know you don't watch WWE either.
That show is so useless. Rampage.
I like Rampage.
Waste of an hour.
Hey, stop it. Cut that out. You could still watch it on. You could watch it the next night after and just kind of chill and fold clothes while you watch it. That's what I do. Do you not fold your clothes?
Oh, fold your clothes. I heard full clothes.
No.
And I was like, why does he have to preface it with that?
No.
That I'm in my clothes.
I want to know what you do when you watch wrestling, what you're wearing.
Apparently.
No. I'm saying I would fold clothes and just like in the morning and just watch what happened on Rampage. Because then I could come in and talk to you about it.
4-way tag team title match. Ricky Starks and Big Bill defend against La Faction Russian Drelistico.
Ignore Galables.
I can't say this.
Why isn't
LFI?
Why isn't Preston in there?
I don't know. Because Russian Drelistico are the tag team. I don't know.
So I changed my idea.
What do you mean your idea? I'm not even done naming who's in the match.
I changed it. I changed the whole matchup.
Apparently. FTR and Kings of the Black Throne are the other two teams in this.
So this is what I'm going to say. Okay. I said Ricky Starks and Big Bill are going to be facing the Golden Jets, but I think it'll be the House of Black versus the Golden Jets. And that would be fucking sick.
I don't understand why.
Who the fuck cares?
What happened? Kings of the House of Black, Kings of Leon. House of Black attacked FTR, and then they attacked BCC.
Oh, Belnoblis.
And for some reason, BCC is just like ignoring them. I'm very confused as to why there's nothing with the BCC in these guys. Like, that should have been the rivalry. I don't know. Starks and Big Bill, I guess I'm going to go with. I'm
going to go with Kings of the Black Throne.
I feel like any of these guys could win. I'm just flipping a coin.
Everyone but L Faction Garnobles. I don't see them winning the tag team title anytime soon.
I don't think FTR wins it back either.
Is Cash Wheeler still injured? He was injured for a little bit.
I don't think he is.
Or was injured his arrest?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because they say he was injured. I think it'd be fun to see Malachi Black and Brody King against the Golden Jets.
I agree. I like it.
They wouldn't beat him.
I like it, but I still think Ricky wins. Ricky and Big Bill.
I think it'd be cooler if the House of Black fought Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho.
I agree.
Didn't Kenny Omega and Malachi look at each other at one point, or they had like a thing where they kiss on the mouth or something? No? Sorry, that was my fan fiction.
There was a three-way trios match at one point when the Elite were the...
that's what I'm thinking of.
It was the Elite against the House of Black against...
maybe you're right then. Maybe it will be.
Against... it was Jericho... I think it was Jericho Garcia and...
2.0?
No, I think it was Jericho Garcia Guevara.
Oh.
I think. Final match, MJF Jay White.
Whoa. When did they announce that?
Like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, they did.
MJF. Hands down. I don't think there's a shot in hell Jay White wins the title.
Nope. Especially since he's been holding it for however long. He technically has it right now, but not officially.
Yeah, Yeah, that's really weird. He's been defending the title, but he doesn't have the title. It's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think MJF. I don't think there's a shot in hell that Jay White wins the title.
It's so fucking weird too, because like back then, it's like you never would expect MJF to just fight random people on a weekly basis, but now he is.
Right. Well, that all changes when he becomes a face. You can't. I mean, you could, but not quite as well. Do the whole like, I'm a heel and I don't like. I'm a person. Or I'm important and I'm not on the show, or I'm not, on wrestling every week type thing. That kind of like goes out the door when you become a face.
It's weird though, because you said a face, but he doesn't really do face stuff. Like he eye gouges and pull tights. He does cheap shit, but like
he does cheap shit, but he still does it as a.
The only difference is the crowd is on his side.
Well, no, he does it as a yes. The difference is the crowd's on his side. I also say that he plays up a lot of those moments as if he's a babyface now.
Mm-hmm.
Like normally, like as a heel, right? When he would do the like, if you were to do the handshake, eye poke thing as a heel, after you do it, you wouldn't then turn and play to the crowd. Like he is like he hams up the moments as a babyface.
Yeah. But then I'm saying like even,
there's a way
even
to
when
do
he was
the
a heel,
things.
he did that too.
But there's a way to do it. There's like differences in the way you do it, in the way you conduct yourself, in the way you interact with the crowd when you do it.
I mean, I'm just saying my personal opinion. I feel like there's not a difference except for the crowd's on his side.
I think there is. He doesn't really... In terms of promos, there's absolutely a difference.
Yeah. In terms of promos.
In terms of
in the
wrestling,
ring.
In the ring, I think there is. For example, he really hasn't... I mean, aside from doing it to... what's his name? Juice, which makes sense in a storyline perspective for a face to use the dynamite ring. He really hasn't used that since becoming a face all that much. I would venture to say like him sticking out his hand and doing the sportsmanship. So if he was a heel, I think if he was a heel, he would stick his hand out and say sportsmanship, and he would maybe go like this a little bit, but he wouldn't be walking around the ring trying to get the crowd to all cheer with him. Like, I think that's a very face thing.
Okay.
Like, he wouldn't be going around going, sportsmanship. Like, I think he would just do it. He'd be like, sportsmanship. And then the crowd would boo, and he would be like, no, come on, for real. Like, he wouldn't be trying to get the crowd to chant it with him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The crowd is very on his side. And that's where I'm like...
And you're saying he's doing... So I'm agreeing with you. He does do the same things. He does them he twists them in a way that makes them
slight changes.
Things.
I get you.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I understand.
He's doing the same things, but the nuance of how he does it and gets there is like a face.
He would never do that.
He wouldn't do as a heel. Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
We're saying the same thing, just in a slightly
No.
different
I
way.
understand what you're saying. It's slight differences.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. He's still like the whole the way I was like, well, he's still a heel, but he's not technically a heel as a face because everyone loves him. The whole concept of like the scumbag thing is just like he's still a piece of shit, but he's their piece of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
now that he's their pieces of shit, he doesn't really insult the audience
and
stuff anymore.
It's little changes.
Right. It's actually like if you think about it, it's almost like kind of the marks of like a great personality, because he can tweak minor things about the character to be a face or a heel. He doesn't have to like do a whole 180 to be one or the other.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people like have to do that. You have to pull like this big 180 to be heel or face, and he can kind of just tweak little things and be able to go to the other side, which is nice.
What do you think they're going to do with Wardlow?
I don't know. I feel like he's destined to just lose to MJF. Like,
they should just do it. Like, I don't know.
Like, I think it makes sense. I think his character and his storyline, the right word? Like his reasoning for what he wants to do and his reasoning for wanting to fight MJF, I think makes sense. And it's also interesting to go back to the well or not to go back to the well is not the right term, but to go back and now do this rivalry where MJF is the face and Wardlow's the heel is also interesting.
Yeah.
But I feel like Wardlow is just kind of destined to lose to MJF.
I mean, he beat him once before, so I wouldn't see there be a problem with it. I just don't understand what they're trying to do with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to talk about Crown Jewel?
That was a show that happened.
That was a show that happened. Don't understand Rhea Ripley's entrance because a man in a turban came out. Then a man with a turban came out. Then a man with a turban came out. And then about 20 or 15 men with turbans came out one at a time. And then they just started playing the song.
They wanted to make it a cool
had
entrance.
the men on the two sides, and they went, "This is my modality." And then she came out.
Yeah. So you sent a GIF in the chat of Patrick Starr saying, "Who are you people?"
Yeah. Yes, I did. Thank you. I forgot about that.
I was not watching the show while it was airing. So you had sent that and said it was about Rhea Ripley. So obviously going back and watching it, I went, oh, okay, that's what he was talking about. But my mind didn't go there. Like I didn't like.
Were you thinking about the Miz TV thing?
No. So my mind, no, because you said it was for Rhea.
Yeah.
So what happened for me was you said Rhea Ripley, LOL, and there was who are you people? And in my head, what you were saying was Rhea Ripley came out, did the stomp, and then she was walking to the ring, and the camera was like close up on her, and she was like, "Who are you people?" Like she said it. That's what went in my head. Was like she said it walking to the ring.
They just did the entrance, and it was just a green light, and it was just a bunch of guys came out. It wasn't the problem that like they came out. It was the fact that like they came out one at a time. It's like you could have just had everyone line up in the line, not like take your good old fucking time.
Mm.
And then she came out, and it's just like, okay, whatever, like tradition or
Yeah.
culture, whatever. That's the price you pay for going to Crown Jewel. You don't get to see any skin on the women, which is fine. It's whatever.
Mhm.
It's not a big deal.
Rhea Ripley did her thing.
Ripley
She
did.
won.
Mommy's always on top, as she likes to say.
Yep.
So, yeah, I found it's funny. I did my grocery shopping while watching it. It's going from place to place and just watching it on my phone. I got to the mall and I was like, oh, Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. All right, I'll see what happens when I come back. I went in, came back out, got in my car. Was like, oh, where are we at? Oh, Logan Paul. Cool. He won the title.
Logan Paul saved his life.
Yeah, I do like that. That was
cool.
That was a nice thing to
And
I wouldn't say include because it was an accident.
He's the United States champion now. And then on Friday, what's his name turned on him?
Santo Escobar.
See,
I'd hate to do it because I always like to shit on WWE, but that's one thing they've been doing right compared to AEW, which is grudge matches.
Mm.
They know how to set up fights that don't have anything to do with titles.
Poor Rey Mysterio.
First his son, now his mentor.
I just meant Mysterio's never been the heel, so he's never been the guy who's turned on the other guy.
Yeah. Well, I
It
mean,
was
yeah.
like
Because of size.
right. Well, somebody put up like a meme, and they were like, "Poor Ray," and it was like, it showed a bunch of people like all turning on him, and it was like Eddie, Batista, his son, Escobar. Trying to think of who else. There was somebody else. Was it Edge? There was like 6 or 7 people in this meme, and I was like, "Oh, poor Eddie, poor Ray. He always gets turned on.
Yeah. Yes, he does.
They always turn on poor Ray.
Poor Ray.
Poor Ray.
Poor Ray.
Pure
yeah,
Ray.
Pure Ray. Yeah, he's obviously a legend. I keep remembering how he's such a fucking legend. But yeah, he it's gonna happen with the way his size is. They're never gonna be able to kind of have him overpower somebody or beat the shit out of somebody. I mean, even didn't Seth Rollins beat the shit out of him and like take his eye or something like that? Something stupid.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
You usually forget the stupid stuff.
The eye for an eye match.
Jesus Christ. Is that what the match was called?
Yeah.
Was it during COVID?
Yes. The way you won was by
Taking your opponent's eye?
taking your opponent's eye out.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm dead serious.
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay. I'm
No,
dead serious.
no,
Look it
don't.
up.
Don't. This is your house.
It happened at Extreme Rules, I think.
That sounds
It was
absolutely horrible.
It was because Seth Rollins like injured Ray's eye or something like that. And then it was an eye for an eye match, and you had to I forget how they phrased it, but it basically was like you have to pop the other dude's eye out of the socket to win the match.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. It was when I think it was Extreme Rules. It was when Seth Rollins was doing the Messiah gimmick, and he had Buddy Murphy with him. Buddy Matthews.
I know who you're talking about. I'm
And,
still not on the
had-
fact that they had
he
to
had-
take each other's eye.
He had AOP with him for a short time.
AOP.
The Authors of Pain.
Oh.
They were.
I know OPP.
They were. You know me.
Yeah, that song's about cheating on your girlfriend, on your significant other.
Those are the only words I know.
That's what that song's about. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either. I only know those 2 lines.
I think it's other person's property. Yeah, right? It's kind of fucked up. It's like finding about the Macarena. The song's
What?
about a woman cheating on her significant other while he's in a war.
Oh, is that why Is that why they stopped doing it at kids
Probably.
at schools?
So you said Seth Rollins took Rey Mysterio's
Rey
eye.
Mysterio eye.
That sounds terrible. That sounds so gimmicky.
Yeah, I think it started because he put Ray's face against the steel stairs, like his eye on the corner, and then like stomped on the back of his.
I feel like
face.
this is a straight up Thunderdome thing, huh?
It was a Thunderdome thing,
I got desperate during COVID, huh?
something like that.
Anywho. So anything else about Crown Jewel? Are you surprised by LA Knight not winning?
No,
So yeah, there was nothing really else going on. I mean, fuck, help me. Who's the pirate lady?
Kairi Sane.
Kairi Sane showing up was a kind of a
Kairi Sane
surprise.
showed up.
I thought it was Dakota Kai at first.
I was really surprised. I really didn't expect that she was gonna there were a lot of rumors about her coming back, so I figured she was gonna come back. I assumed it was gonna be like on a Raw or a SmackDown, and not in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they had a she has a nasty elbow drop,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people say like, oh, she's got a nasty elbow drop, but also it's like getting a body splash from Rio. You know, it's not gonna be much. I guess as a man, I don't think she's gonna do much damage unless she like literally lands on my sternum and breaks it.
She could.
She absolutely could, but that's on me not protecting it or her doing it the wrong way.
First time I ever saw her elbow was the first Mae Young Classic.
She fought Mae Young?
No. That's why she's dead.
Oh my God! I'll have to, Darren. You have to edit that one real bad. That's a big pop. I fucked up the sounds.
Yeah, they did the Mae Young Classic, which was the women's tournament.
Was that when Tony Storm got a pie thrown in her face, or was that just?
No, that was way before that. That was the first time we ever saw Tony Storm.
That's what I'm thinking. I know she won one, didn't she? Didn't she win the?
She won the second one, I think, because I think Kairi Sane won the first one.
Oh, hey, look, we brought it back around.
Yeah, those tournaments had a couple of good matches.
It was like the Cruiserweight one?
Cruiserweight Classic was fucking the bomb.
Yeah. Why don't they still do those?
I don't know.
They don't have Cruiserweights at all anymore.
Nope. I think I think part of the reason, I don't know. I mean, it was really experimental. I thought it worked really, really well. I think it lost momentum because, or I think one of the reasons it lost momentum was they decided to do a second Mae Young Classic. So they did the Cruiserweight one, and then I think it was like 9 months later they announced, and we're going to do the Mae Young one, and it was like same format, same everything, except it was women instead of Cruiserweights.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year they were like, we're going to do Mae Young tournament again, and I was like, no, why aren't we doing like a tag team tournament or a? And I think it was really a Triple H brainchild to get a bunch of talent and sign them.
Yeah, because a lot of people came from that, didn't they?
Correct. Well, so here's the interesting thing. For the Mae Young, I think there was only like 2 names signed beforehand, that were like at the Performance Center. For the Cruiserweight, there was only one. Like legitimately, it was like, hey, here's the one WWE guy. Everybody else was from other like nobody else was signed. By the end of it, then they had a whole bunch of them signed because then they started the Cruiserweight division, and that was totally the point of it. But I think Rich Swann was the only guy signed and at the Performance Center prior to that. They had like Grand Metalik. Brian Kendrick wasn't a WWE signee at the time. In terms of like he had left the company, he wasn't back. I think the biggest name they had Zack Sabre Jr.
Mm-hmm.
was in the tournament.
I remember they talked to Will Ospreay about it and how he didn't want to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, there were some really Kota Ibushi was in it.
Oh,
Was in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Is Kota Ibushi? I wanted to ask: Is Kota Ibushi? Is he's the Kenny Omega guy, right?
Yes.
So is he the guy who gets flipped off the turnbuckle and or he flips Will Ospreay off the turnbuckle and he lands on his feet. Is he that meme?
Probably. I'd have to look at who he's fighting.
I think it is, because like, and I look at him, I'm like, that looks like Kota Ibushi, because I've only seen him twice, All In and whatever other match.
My initial thought would be, either Kota Ibushi or
there's the interview.
or Okada. One of those two.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't look like. I'll have to look it up. Hold on. I also want to talk to you about China and Hulk Hogan. Not together.
Why?
Because I saw a bunch of stuff like documentaries on him.
Like, you watched the documentary, or you just saw that there was
I saw
documentaries?
a video. It's a YouTube video on Hulk Hogan about all the lies he's told in the years that he's been around.
Oh, that must have been like a 3-hour video.
It's actually an hour-long video.
Oh,
It only talks about from the 80s to about the end of the 90s. And it was all lies that you could disprove. Some of the stuff that I guess they didn't want to add because they were like, we're not sure about this stuff. The guy who did it was not a big fan of Hulk Hogan.
I mean, it makes sense. If you're gonna make such a video, you're probably not a fan of him.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The concept that sorry, I think I found the video. Yes, it's definitely Kota Ibushi.
Okay.
Because then they said part 2, because I guess he did it a second time,
Oh,
where he lands on his feet. Doesn't land as gracefully the second time. Anyway, so I want to talk to you about this because I reminded myself the other day that I watched this, and it was this YouTuber who was just doing a video on, like, it started from a certain year and then kept going up in years and all the different lies. So one of the weird one was they talked about him choking out Richard Blazer, who is the guy from Law and Order. He there wasn't a lie in that, but there was. They started off with that. Then they talk about, I guess, 2 years later with him versus Andre the Giant. He says he injured his back picking up the 800-pound Andre the Giant, and the fact that he couldn't really. It was a shame because of the fact that he passed away a couple months later. It doesn't make any sense because he's at the next WrestleMania. So it's like, how did Andre the Giant die 6 months later when he's at the next WrestleMania the next year?
oh, okay.
And also that he's 500 pounds and not 800 pounds. If he injured his back, it's whatever. But it was like stuff, like little stuff where like you kind of see like these things mount up and you go, oh, he just says a lot of stuff that's just, there was an opinion. This is an opinion, not really a lie from him, but the reason the Mega Powers was created was because Macho Man could keep the title, but also still have Hogan in the limelight. Which I understand that back then you don't want to be out for any certain time, because then if you're out, you lose your spot. And back then it was like that. I get that. There was one that was really disgusting where it was, he said that he had a kid. He wrote a song. They had a song for like when do all kind of stuff, Pasta Mania, all the different types of stuff that he had back then, his movies, all that. He had a cassette or whatever, a soundtrack of songs that he did, and one of them was Hulkster in Heaven or something like that. It was about a dying kid who had passed away at Wembley Stadium when he performed there, and he said the year 1992 or something like that. But there's no record of him ever working Wembley Stadium in that year. There's no kid that was there. But then they're like, yeah, he died because his family couldn't pay for the medical bills. And then there was also the concept like, what medical bills? America isn't like England where it's like healthcare is different there. So it's just like not like his family couldn't afford it. It's just like the concept of none of it added up.
I mean, it depends. I mean, he put out a cassette where he's singing about it or doing whatever, and like in that version of events, it could totally be like he's telling a story and it is not a real life story, like how songs and other stuff are
Well, the song is
made up.
the song is the song. His reason behind it, he explained all the money went to the family that was trying. Like he explained that this was a kid. It wasn't in the song. He explained it. The song is like as if someone who had passed away, and he's like, I'll see them in heaven, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It was very like uplifting, like, oh, the Hulkster will be there, and it's just like there was no recollection of any kind of kid who had been terminally ill, and he also happened to die in between a match, and he never got a chance to watch Hogan. It's just like really dramatic, kind of like seems almost set up. There's a lot of different stuff that he explains, but he said how the only reason his leading role movies didn't do well was because Hollywood blackballed him. But like Rocky did good. All the stuff he wasn't lead roles in, it's because no one wanted to see Suburban Commando. No one wanted to see Mr. Nanny or whatever the other movies that he was in. It was just like the concept of like he just didn't want to admit like, oh, it just didn't do well. His excuse was that Hollywood didn't want him to do well. It's
Maybe Hollywood didn't want him to do well.
Are you defending Hulk Hogan?
I'm not
I'm sorry.
playing devil's advocate.
All right, I give you that.
I'm just saying things.
No, I agree though, because but like a lot of the stuff this guy like looked into, he was just like, none of this stuff makes sense. Like the kid one, it was like really like, oh, okay, that's just weird.
I mean that makes sense. I don't know how you could disprove that Hollywood, disprove or prove for that matter that Hollywood was blackballing him or whatever.
There's a YouTuber who said the same thing. They said that their videos are being blackballed and they weren't able to get anything going because
I don't know how you would prove.
She also
or
lost her mind at the same time as well. So I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, it was just like that kind of stuff.
I mean the likelihood of it being because Hollywood was blackballing him is low and probably doesn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I would also say that that's something that's probably near impossible to prove or disprove.
Yeah. The other stuff was the fact of like any time that someone was becoming big. Another big one was the chair for Undertaker. Do you remember the whole chair thing where he said that he landed on the chair when Ric Flair puts it in front of him at SummerSlam?
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "Oh, you jammed my neck up because my head hit the chair." He's like, "I went back and watched, and no one, you could see that it didn't hit your head." He's like, "Oh, well, you kept it too tight." So, and Undertaker was like, "Oh, I understand. I understand the type of person you are now." He after that was like, "Oh, okay. You just didn't want me to do well." Because then you think about it, and the guy explained it in the video. He goes, if you think about it, if someone sees this new guy, Taker, his first year in,
mm-hmm.
and is hurting people, no one's going to want to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fucked up. Like, I'm not surprised. The way Hulk Hogan has always been.
Yeah.
And granted, some of it comes from you got to be the top spot and you can't lose your spot. But it's fucking just... I mean, even Vince did seedy shit. It's all of them.
He probably really was coveting Miss Elizabeth.
Oh my God. I mean, they didn't talk about that, but they just talked about the fact that Megan Powers was created so that way he could stay around and not lose the limelight.
Makes sense.
Like, I could see, like, even Triple H doing shit like that. I mean, we know Shawn Michaels did shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Young Rock even has a story about it. Like, they had to hide Shawn Michaels' identity, so they'd be like, yeah, we're going to talk shit on this guy because you won't know who this is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't want him to succeed. And I think, like, same as with HBK, it's not a concept of he hates this person. It's like, if they're on the top, then I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Triple H did a little bit of it too. But some of the things I was going to say about China was the fact that, like, the documentary I watched on her was the fact that, like, he was, like, seeing Stephanie when they were still together.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
I had no clue. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that was a big point for them, was because it was, kind of, it's been alleged that he was seeing Stephanie before he had broken it up with China.
Because even she said, she was like, I just tried to ask him, is there something going on? He's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
But she could sense that there was.
Right.
So yeah.
I mean, that was something for their relationship. I've definitely heard that before, that she accused him of being with Steph prior to their breakup, and that there are people that say that they were, that him and Steph were together prior to the breakup.
It's kind of messed up. I'm not trying to like say like, oh, Triple H is a shitty guy. I'm just saying in general, it's just like, I didn't know that.
And then they stayed together.
Oh my goodness.
Unlike someone else.
Who else?
Edge and Lita.
Oh.
Those bastards.
Edge and Lita.
Those bastards.
Ah, those bastards. Are they going to say Matt and Lita? Whatever happened to S.A. Rios?
I don't know. Who cares?
That's right. Okay. Well,
he was the Marty Jannetty of that team.
Yeah.
Him and Lita.
Yeah.
He was the Marty Jannetty.
You said that team, and I'm like thinking, wait, the Hardys were...
That group, I should have said.
No, I know what you meant at first. I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh. So yeah, if we don't see you guys till then, hopefully you enjoy...
When is then? What?
Shut up, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Wait till I finish. I hope you enjoy Full Gear. If we don't see you till then.
We won't.
What if they do, though?
How?
Maybe if someone sees me in the street and says, oh, you're Darren.
Okay, that's possible.
You're Pookie from...
That's possible. That's
Kibbles
possible.
and Pookie. I just listened to your podcast, and I love you.
That's possible.
Here's $20.
Unlikely.
Here's $100?
More likely.
Oh. Okay. All right, then.
So so I guess next week we'll chat about Full Gear, because Full Gear is on Saturday. We record on Sunday.
Yes, and
so we'll chat about the
we put
fullest of
episodes
gears.
up on Monday. I think that hopefully, and I'm very doubtful. Hopefully, AEW gets their shit together.
Either way, this will be a really good pay-per-view, because even when the storylines are rushed, they tend to have a really good in-ring product.
Yeah, I think what's really carrying them is MJF.
I don't think I've ever been. I can't think of a single AEW pay-per-view where I've come out of it being like, man, that was a waste of money.
You were off your tits. You're like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah. They even when stuff is rushed, they tend to have good. They tend to put together good shows. So
I will say,
good pay-per-views. I should
speaking
say.
of the other company, I am excited for Elimination Chamber in Perth. It's gonna be fun.
Did you? I meant to ask. I meant to bring it up, and while we're winding down, I bring it up. Did you see Adam Pearce announce War Games?
Yeah,
fucking hilarious.
You mentioned
fucking hilarious.
He was way too. He
stares down the hard cam and takes his glasses off.
It's too self-aware. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, like he was living for the moment to want to yell War Games.
Yeah, like William Regal would have been like looking at one of them and going, War Games.
Yeah,
but he like looked at the hard cam.
And even William Regal would say it, but like more subdued.
Yeah.
This dude went all in. He went all in.
Absolutely.
And I love it. I was like, sir, you just memed. I love it.
But yeah, it's a bit wild. Wow. But anyway, Full Gear next week.
Next week.
And we'll talk to you about that when it happens. And thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. And what should they do, Kibbles?
The needful.
Okay, bye.
What?
Like Quantum Leap, where Scott Bakula goes into another person's body and he's there, and like when he sees himself in the mirror, he's like, when you'd see yourself in the mirror.
What does that have to do with the fuck we're talking about?
Hold on, when you'd see yourself in the mirror, you'd be Okada, but you'd be you.
Okay. The fuck does this have to do with?
You would be Okada.
I am Okada.
So if you were would you be upset that you lost to Bryan Danielson? Or would you go, it's okay, I'm still Okada?
That's a weird fucking roundabout to get to that statement.